Well folks, it's officially spring, but if you live in an area like where I live in zone 7B, we've still got another month before we can really get our spring planting done on account of frost. In this video, we're going to show you some things that you can be doing as well as some things we're doing while we're waiting on the time to get our spring starts in the ground. Stick around. Hello again, backyard vegetable gardeners. Welcome to the Backyard Vegetable Gardening channel. Today is Monday, March the 25th, 2024, and we sure hope you're having a great day. Well guys, I don't know about you, but all this warm weather has got me itching to do stuff, and that's the reason we haven't made too many videos. We've been doing stuff. I don't know what you've got cooking where you're at, but over here we've got a lot of stuff going on right now, and we'll give you a little walkthrough about it. But real quickly at the beginning of the video, we're going to remind you that depending on where you live, you need to look at your average last frost date before you get too froggy about putting your transplants in the ground. Now there's always stuff that we can do. We can put some polytunnels over our beds and stuff like that, and frost blankets, frost covers and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the stuff that we're really waiting on growing, like the tomatoes and the peppers and the sweet potatoes and things like that, eggplant, we really need to wait a little while before we get those in the ground. Well, with that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and do a little walkthrough. Now guys, in a little bit we'll go inside and we'll look at what we've been doing inside. Got the tomatoes started, the peppers started, and got all of our herb garden divided up and potted up and ready to come out here as soon as it's healthy enough to come out here. But if you'll follow me around here, we've got busy. This is the time of year if you want to plant your berry bushes, it's a good time to be doing it. We had 5 blueberry plants and we bought us another one. These 3 varieties, these 3 right here are the same variety. They're the pink lemonade variety, and we're really excited about them. And as you can see, they're coming out of dormancy really nice. This one's a little purple. We just added some sulfur. We dug these up from one of our garden spots, and we put them in these big tubs, and we're hoping that that's going to be what we do from now on, because they've been in the ground a year and the root system still hasn't expanded beyond 12 inches deep and 12 inches wide, with the exception of some of these. Now these varieties right here, we've got 2, I believe they were called New Hanover, and we've got one that's a Conover. And the reason we have those varieties is because they need different varieties to produce the best fruit. Now from the farm we bought them from, they said they weren't aware of that requirement, but we know that these varieties really do need a different variety, so they get cross-pollinated and they produce lots of berries. And where the camera's at, you probably can't see. I'll try to zoom in post, but these are coming out of dormancy really nice. Lots of blooms all over this guy right here. And if I can think about it, I'll try to get some footage of that. But we're really excited. The grandbabies are really excited. And I'm going to try to lean down here, and just so you know guys, we're using a new piece of technology. I did get that gimbal figured out, and thanks to the guys at Hohem, they did a nice Zoom call and helped me get this thing balanced properly. So I'm going to lean down here and hopefully it'll get these. We went out the other day to get a sweet little friend of ours a pack of determinate tomato seeds. We always try to grow her a tomato plant in a bucket so she can easily take care of it, get her some fresh slicing tomatoes every year. And we didn't have no determinate varieties, so we went to the local Tractor Supply after church yesterday, which was really the only place open besides Walmart in our area. And while I was in there, I seen that they had these raspberry bushes and these goji berry bushes. So we got 2 raspberries. I believe they're called the Heritage Raspberry. Yep, they're called the Heritage Raspberry. And then we got 1 goji berry plant. And I got a problem, folks. I'm just going to have to admit it to you. I don't even know where I'm going to put these right now. But we took them out of, they were bare root, so we took them out of the package and go ahead and got them potted up in a nice berry soil mix. And the strawberries we planted in the stackable planters, they seem to be doing good. We come out here today and we put some wood chips on them and watered them in pretty good. They all look plenty healthy, got plenty of flowers everywhere. The lettuce and the containers behind it seems to be doing good. And I'll tell you, if you've been following the channel any, you know that I was real hesitant about doing this setup here. And the only thing that I can say in the negative as of right now is I've got to turn them about once a week. Sometimes, most of the time I do it twice a week, but I know I only have to do it about once a week just to make sure that the sun gets on all the sides. And once I figure out where we're going to put these in the garden, it'll be different, but we'll figure that out as we get there. And we've got some nasturtiums and some calendula over here that we're hardening. And I doubt you can see them on the count of the potting table, but we're really excited. Those are some of our favorite flowers to put out, and we're trying to do the marigolds now, getting them started. They're inside, and I'll be honest with you about that. I don't know what I did wrong this year, but this will be the third time that I've tried to get those marigolds to germinate. First time I tried with some seed that I saved last year from our marigolds. Those didn't work. So I went out and bought a pack of new seed, and those didn't work. So now we're back to trying the ones that we harvested ourselves, and we're just going to see. I just laid them on the top of the soil this time. I didn't even try to bury them. I just laid them on the top of the soil, took my finger and just patted them in pretty good, watered them in, put some perlite on them. So hopefully that'll be a happening thing, but I don't know. Didn't have that problem in any of the years past. The marigolds always seem to germinate pretty good. Well, guys, I can see the sun's poking out from behind me. There's probably going to be really bad glare on this. So we're going to stop filming, move the camera, and show you some other stuff that we got in another spot of the garden. Well, the next stop, guys, is the raspberries. The first things come out of dormancy, of course, was the strawberries. Strawberries are looking good and healthy. The second thing was my son's blackberries. I think I said raspberries just a second ago. I meant to say blackberries. My son built this little trellis last year, and sometime between the winter, my babies seemed to have broke one of his ropes. He'll have to come out here and fix that, but they're starting to look good. Lots of good green leaves on these. He planted him 3 little plants last year, and we're sure hoping they do good for him. This one right here seems to be doing the best. Now it's just a matter of time to see if a 15-year-old is going to take care of what he started. He normally does pretty good about that, but I think he was just really excited to have something for the grandbabies to come out here and share with. If you follow the channel for any time, you know we love these grandbabies, and we'll do everything we can so they'll spend every single minute that they want to over here, and so far so good. The next thing we're waiting for is for these grapes to come out of dormancy. We built this pergola last year. We're going to put some seating under there. My wife's going to finish putting the marine finish on it, and we'll have a little place to sit down during the cooler parts of the day. Hopefully the grapevines will grow up. We'll train them to cover the top of it, and that'll be good. These right here are the Sunbelt grapes, and we're trying to get these also to come up this side. These are the Catawba grapes. Get down here so that clothesline might not be in the way. But you know, guys, one of the best things about growing a garden is growing stuff that's fun. You know, we spend a lot of time growing food to eat. I don't know why you grow a garden, but one of our goals, it's a big goal, but it's achievable, is to grow most of our own produce. And many of you might be like me. I've got about an acre of land with a house on it and buildings on it, so I don't have a full acre to grow a garden on. But we've got about 3,000 square feet of garden space, not counting where we've got all these fruit plants. And we spend a lot of time in the garden, and I don't get excited about planting potatoes. I don't get excited about harvesting potatoes. I do get a little excited when it comes time to plant corn and to harvest corn. I really do like a good ear sweet corn. Our peppers and tomatoes, those are all fine. We need them. Onions, garlic, but when it comes to these fruit crops, boy, it's just a blessing to be able to come outside, get you a handful of berries, and just sit down with the grand youngins. Boy, it's just a nice way to spend your afternoon. Well, that about covers it over here. We're going to move on into another part of the garden and show you what we got going on there. All right, well, in this section of the garden, we've actually tried to make 2 different videos on this, and I wasn't comfortable to publish not a one of them. I just wasn't happy with them. There's too much traffic, too much noise, and even right now, it's so loud. We try to film the videos outdoors either early in the morning or pretty close to dusk, and it's hard to record at dusk just for the simple fact we run out of daylight. But in the morning is the perfect time, but we spend a little time with the grandbabies every morning, and it's hard for me to get out here anymore. But what we did was, this used to be an area where we did our row cropping. We've grew potatoes over here and peas over here, and grew some cow peas last year. We've grew some corn here, but we are converting it over to these inexpensive raised beds. One of the focuses of the video today is to give you some tips and some ideas on things you can be doing. And we've already mentioned now's a good time to be planting those berry bushes if you want to get them planted. And even if they're first year, you know, you want to do it when it's cool. February, where I'm at, is a pretty good time. We was a little late on that, but it's all right. They're still doing plenty fine. They're going to like their new home. So we'll talk to you about these raised beds. Last year we spent a good amount of money up there on those 7 beds. They're all made out of untreated 2x12s. And I think at the time they were like $38 or $42 a board. Just absolutely ridiculous. But that's what we want to do. We did it. So this year we're going to try to be a little smart and not spend so much money. And to a lot of folks that might not be a lot of money. But where we're at, we consider that to be a lot of money. By the time that we bought the boards and the hardware and the fasteners, and we filled them full of soil that we bought from a local farm supply, amended it well with perlite, peat moss, and all the fertilizer. We was pretty much done on spending. This year we decided to go with these pressure treated fence posts. You can see, back up a little bit, they're 6 foot tall, 5.5 inches wide, and they're 3/4 inches thick. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you folks, I'm not one of them guys. If you don't want to build with pressure treated wood, don't build with pressure treated wood. I don't care. I went with this. You don't have to. They do make a cedar variety of these same boards. These are $2 a board, which comes out to $14 in lumber for each of these beds. If you bought the cedar in our area, they're $4 a board. That's still not a lot of money, $28 a bed. I chose to go $14 a bed. Last year, we chose to go about $150 a bed, not counting the fill. This year, we decided to go cheaper. Now, you do whatever you want to do. So what we did here was we dug a trench all the way around, and we filled these beds with the existing earth. We amended it well with some peat moss and some perlite, and then we preloaded our fertilizer, and we've got 2 of them that's built. I'm gonna walk around here so the camera tracks me. If I get too close to the camera, the thing quits following me, and then I have to stop filming. But as you can see, there's a trench all the way along here. This is on a slight slope. So by the time we get to this next one, this 3rd bed, I haven't made my mind up what we're gonna do there. But the goal is to level out in between these beds and have a nice little area. We might have to terrace that one. I don't know that for a fact or not. But in this bed right here, we've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 18 broccoli plants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lettuce plants. Honestly, it's more lettuce than we can eat because we've got 15 lettuce plants over there. These are all going to mature somewhere in the same proximity. Normally what we'd like to do is we'll plant us about 10 plants, and then in about 2 or 3 weeks we'll plant 10 more, and that normally does us. But this year we went a little nuts And we didn't, when we thinned out, we didn't throw them away, we kept them. We've gave a few away. But guys, this time of year, we can't do a whole lot of planting, but you sure can build you some beds. You can plant you some nice collards, or you can, any type of green. These broccolis, these lettuce, they all seem to do really, really good. Now we'll go up here and we'll show you one last thing as far as in the outdoor garden, maybe to give you some ideas on what you could be doing. Well, after an extended break, I finally made it to the main raised bed garden, folks. Sorry, it's the way it is when you work a job. You get a phone call, go to work. I'm really fortunate that my office is so close to the garden. You know, we can spend a lot of time in our garden that we wouldn't if we didn't work so close. But anyway, we're up here in the main raised bed garden, and as you can see, we've got all those onions that we planted in a few videos back. We've got all of our garlic looking pretty good, and we've got a little spot right here. While we're here, I'm going to water it. That's going to be our green onions, and they're still not germinated yet. So if you're not familiar with this, you need to make sure that your onions, your onion seed, or anything really, any seed you plant, you need to make sure that during the germination process they don't dry out. We've got a few coming up here, but guys, the squirrels this year are messing me up. If the camera can show it, we've got this little green fencing that we've got laid down, and that's been a big help keeping them out of the garlic. We planted this middle box full of carrots the other week, and they should be coming up either this week or next week. And I'm telling you now, it has been everything I can do to keep the squirrels out of it. So I've laid some wire fence over top of this one, and if you notice, I've got these T-posts over top of it. Well, that's because those squirrels came through and they went under this wire fence. Most of the time when they touch that wire fence, it deters them. Well, these squirrels are very persistent. So we'll water these in. Now, the one thing about your carrots, they're really finicky. They don't like being dried out. So my advice to you is to keep them as moist as you can. I know there's a lot of things that people do on the internet these days where they're putting cardboard over top of it or boards, and I don't say that you shouldn't do it, but just think it's a little outrageous. You got these commercial guys who can grow hundreds and hundreds of acres of carrots. Now, I don't know what they do. I've never researched it, but I seriously doubt they're throwing cardboard over it. I think the best thing you can do is just keep them good and wet. We've got a couple days of rain scheduled in the forecast, and I probably could have let these just sit there the way they were, but I really didn't want to chance it. If they are starting to germinate, and let's just say they was to dry out today or tonight, before that rain comes tomorrow or the next day, I've just set myself back a few weeks, and guys, I want me some carrots. You know how it is when you plant stuff. You don't want to fail. Sorry about that, guys. The camera quit following me. When I get too close to this gimbal, it quits. But what I was saying is, it's not the end of the world if your crops don't germinate like these carrots here, but sure is discouraging, ain't it? So what we talked about so far, we can get our berries planted this time of year. We can get our new beds made this time of year. We can clean up the beds we've got. We can sow some carrots, some broccoli, some lettuce, and collard greens. I guess you could probably do Brussels sprouts too, cabbage. Of course, you can always do celery anytime in the cold season. They don't care. I'm not celery, but radishes. And the only thing left, guys, is to go inside the office and show you what we got germinating. So we'll stop the video and we'll walk into the office. All right, guys, we're in the office again, and here's that Vigo Garden extra large tray that we bought the other week or so, and things are germinating pretty good. I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 varieties of tomatoes, and you can see they're all coming up pretty good. We've got 10 varieties of peppers, and most of those are germinated. You can see back in there. Those are doing pretty good. And then over here we had all of our herbs, and what we did was we separated them out the other day, and we gonna start some more. Some that didn't germinate, we're gonna try them again. But as far as everything goes, the little grandbabies got their flowers planted. The peppermint, the lavender, the chives, they're not doing too hot. The chamomile, it did way better than I ever thought, more than the nasturtiums. And if we come down in here, that's some dill. It's not looking too good. It didn't like being transplanted, so we're just gonna have to see how that turns out. The marigolds I was telling you about, third try. And all of that chamomile, it transplanted well. The cilantro, and then all the basil. And we've still got a few onions here. I'm telling you guys, I'll never do that cocoa coir mixture with these onions again. That wasn't a happening thing. Those two cells you see with all the onions in it, that was sown in my regular mix of compost and peat moss, and it's doing way better. But one of my favorites is always the celery, and it's starting to finally develop well. We'll get that outside pretty soon. Give it another week or so in here, and that'll pretty much do it for this video, folks. I hope you're doing well. It's always my pleasure to be with you. As always, if you enjoyed the video, if you found it interesting, you learned something, be sure to like the video. If you like gardening related content, please consider subscribing to our channel. And as always, we're certainly glad to be with you. Hope you're having a great day. See you on the next one.